There are moments when time seems suspended. Nothing moves, nothing advances. And then something happens. A sound, a word, an energy that touches the invisible and changes everything. This prayer is not a request. It is a trigger, a code that, when spoken, opens a vibrational field where scarcity cannot survive. What is activated here cannot be deactivated. If you continue listening, your financial reality will begin to respond immediately. You're not here by chance. This connection was not brought about by logic, but by attunement. Something within you already knew that this message would be the key, and now that it has arrived, there's no turning back. This prayer touches inner dimensions that were dormant. It will not teach you what to do. It will remind you who you are, a being who has never been separated from abundance, only diluted by programmed limitations. At this moment, something begins to realign within you. A subtle but powerful vibration begins to rise. It is not just any emotion. It is the activation of a deep memory. You are the source. You are the channel. You are part of the creative field. Money is not outside you. It is a natural extension of who you are when your energy is free. This prayer removes the blocks, not with force, but with presence. You don't need to understand how it works. You just need to allow it to work. Each phrase in this prayer is designed to break invisible contracts of scarcity. Contracts you accepted without realizing it, through beliefs, fears, and stories from others. But now, by allowing yourself to listen, you're choosing something new, a new frequency, a new narrative, a new vibrational identity. And that choice changes everything. When the energy of abundance is activated, there is nothing left to resist. You no longer need to strive to achieve what has always been yours. It is not about deserving, but about alignment. The universe responds to the vibration you hold, not to your mental arguments. And now, the vibration pulsing within you is saying, I am ready. I accept. I allow. This permission is the turning point. It is at this moment that the layers of scarcity begin to fall away. What seems stuck, closed, inaccessible begins to open effortlessly. It's as if invisible doors begin to move of their own accord. Reality begins to dance around your frequency. You don't chase. You attract. You don't run after it. You become the meeting point. Money, which once seemed distant, cold, even hostile, Hausa, now approaches you gently, not to test you, but to confirm you, to remind you that it has always been ready to serve you, not to dominate you. It is not a prize. It is an extension of your creative nature. And the more you accept it, the more this force grows. Prayer does not create wealth. It reveals the channel that already exists. It dissolves what prevented you from realizing that abundance was never outside. It has always been trying to reach you, waiting for you to stop running away from it, waiting for you to stop trying to control the path and simply take your place. At this point, something changes profoundly. You begin to feel the energy reorganizing around you. It is not an external event. It is an internal confirmation, a peace that replaces anxiety, a certainty that silences doubt. You are no longer trying. You are accepting. You are living. You are breathing the right frequency. You begin to notice the signs. People reappearing. Opportunities arising. Sensations you couldn't name before. And all of this without effort. Because effort belongs to the old world. The new world responds to your energy. The new reality does not require sacrifice. It requires clarity, presence, alignment. And the more you allow yourself to feel this, the more your field expands. You realize that it's not magic or coincidence. It's about vibrational positioning. It's about remembering that abundance is not a lottery prize, but an inevitable consequence of who you are when you are free from the illusion of lack. You may feel a subtle fear. This is natural. It is the fear of leaving behind an identity built on lack. It is the discomfort of stepping out of the familiar. But this fear is an indicator that you are on the right path. It is not a sign of error. It is the sign of transition. It is the last whisper of scarcity before it disappears. And you're no longer available to it. You are preparing for something much bigger. To live a life where money is no longer a problem, but a tool. Where abundance is not a rare event, but a permanent state. You're crossing the threshold of a new existence. And it all started with a prayer. A single choice. A simple yes. A moment of total surrender to the truth that you are worthy. Not because of what you have done, but because of who you are. A being that vibrates with the universe. A being that manifests, that creates, that allows. Now, take a deep breath. Feel what is moving within you. It is not just emotion. It is reconfiguration. It is energy responding to your decision. The field around you is already being influenced. And the longer you remain in this state, the more evident the transformation will be. Don't go back. Don't question. Just stay. Because this is the moment when everything starts to move. This is the portal you've been waiting for without knowing it. The key that was already in your hand. The memory you needed to activate. You're no longer asking for abundance. You're living abundance. You're no longer fighting for money. You are becoming the vibration that attracts it. You're no longer trying to prove anything to the world. Because the world will now be shaped by your new frequency. And it says, I receive. Something has changed in me. It wasn't something visible, but it's impossible to deny. I feel like a silent door has opened within me. Before, I tried to control everything, time, paths, results. Now, something shows me that true power lies in allowing. And in allowing, I realize that everything begins to align with a perfection that the mind could never plan. It's not a coincidence. It's vibration. What began as a simple prayer has turned into a constant vibration. An energy that doesn't fade when the video ends, but continues to pulse in my field, shaping realities, dissolving resistance. The scarcity that once seemed like a thick veil now appears as a fragile mist, dissolved by the power of this new consciousness. I feel it. I see it. I recognize it. Abundance doesn't arrive. It emerges. There are no more doubts. The activation has been made. And the more I breathe in this energy, the more my reality responds. Different people appear. Unlikely situations arise. Doors that seemed closed for years open effortlessly. And all this not because I forced it, but because I aligned myself. I understood that what you force resists, and what you allow flows. Wealth is not the result of blind effort, but of a refined internal state. It's strange how something so simple can be so powerful. There is no noise, no spectacle. There is only an inner certainty that grows with each passing moment. Money doesn't come because I insist. It comes because I vibrate. Because now my frequency is compatible with what I once considered unattainable. Prayer was the gateway, but the decision to remain in this state is what continuously transforms my reality. I choose to remain. Old beliefs still try to return. Little voices that say it's not possible, that it's too good to be true. But now, instead of fighting them, I just watch them disappear. They no longer have any power. The field I live in now is different. It is a space where money is not an enemy, but an extension of the universe's love for me. It comes to me as confirmation of who I really am. There is no guilt, no fear, no judgment. There is only acceptance. And I accept every time a new bill comes into my life. Every time a new financial opportunity presents itself. Every time a positive result happens without effort, I smile. Not because I'm surprised, but because I'm aligned. It was like this all along. I just needed to remember. And now that I remember, there's no way to forget. My vibration has changed. My destiny has changed. My reality no longer responds to scarcity. It responds to the frequency I have activated. Now, every choice I make carries a different energy. Before, I used to say, I can't out of habit. Today, I say yes out of conviction. It's not arrogance. It's alignment. It's knowing that money is already on its way before I even need it. And when it arrives, it finds a space that's ready for it. An inner space without resistance, without fear of having too much, without beliefs that having is wrong. I understood that being spiritual isn't about rejecting the material, it's about integrating it. And now that I've integrated it, everything moves with ease. This ease is not laziness, it is flow. It is doing the right things at the right time with the right energy. There is no more tiredness. There is lightness. What was once struggle is now clarity. I see opportunities before they knock on my door. I feel when something is right before any external evidence. Because my vibrational field has become my guide. My body responds with signals. My heart races when something is in harmony with my abundance. My silence tells me when to stop. Energy guides me, and I follow. Because now I know that the energy that guides me is the same energy that organizes everything around me. I don't need to control. I don't need to prove. I just need to trust. And the more I trust, the faster everything happens. And what happens? Wealth comes to me in new forms. Unexpected gifts, unlikely invitations, surprising deposits, ideal partners, all because I stopped trying to control and started aligning myself. It's no longer a matter of believing. It's a matter of knowing. Prayer activated a spark that won't go out. It's like a fountain that flows and never runs dry. Every word spoken at that moment became a seed. And now those seeds are blooming. Not because I did anything extra, but because I allowed them to grow. The fertile soil was my clear mind, my open heart. And now I reap the harvest. Not with desperation, but with reverence. I walk differently. I look at people differently. Before I saw competitors. Now I see partners. Before I saw lack. Now I see possibilities. Before I fear the end. Now I only see beginnings. Because the flow of wealth does not end. It only transforms. And I transform with it. Every thought of doubt is now answered by vibrational memory. I remember what I felt during that activation, and that is enough to realign me. Nothing shakes me for long. Crises, unforeseen events, challenges. Hausa, they all have a different color now. I understand that every apparent blockage is a redirection, that the temporary absence of something is not punishment, it is preparation, that when something seems to have gotten out of my way, it is because something greater is coming. I no longer fight with time. It is my ally. I no longer fear tomorrow. It is already blessed, and today is abundant. I have reached the point where there is nothing left to prove. There is no more desperate search. There is only permission. And in this permission, everything flourishes. I have become an antenna of abundance. Everything that vibrates at the frequency of money recognizes me. I don't chase after it. I receive it. I don't beg. I am. And this being is enough to attract what once seemed unattainable. Because now it is inevitable. There is no more doubt, no more effort. There is only flow. And this flow is constant. It pulses with me. It grows when I sleep, expands when I breathe, manifests even when I am still. Because alignment does not depend on constant action. It depends on the internal state. And this state is what I cultivate. This state is what shapes me. Prayers show me the key, but I was the one who opened the door. And that door no longer closes. Abundance is my new language. Prosperity is my new normal. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can take me away from this place. With each new morning, I realize how my reality is shaped even more precisely by my thoughts and feelings. What was once just theory is now concrete experience. Wealth is no longer an external concept. It is a natural extension of who I am. I'm surrounded by signs. I am surrounded by confirmation. I'm surrounded by miracles that now seem as common as the sunrise. I lack nothing. Nothing is out of place. Everything I needed has been activated. And what continues to manifest is only a reflection of this new me. It's not luck. It's a vibrational choice. It's not chance. It's a conscious decision. I look back and see a version of myself who tried, struggled, and strived, and I embrace it with gratitude. But now, I'm on another level, a level where everything works with me, where every positive thought becomes a seed of fulfillment. And every seed blossoms with ease. Money comes in unexpected ways. The generosity of others increases. My decisions create returns. My field is magnetic, and that's just the surface of what's coming. I recognize this is my new reality, and I will never go back. Every step I take now is guided by an unshakable inner wisdom. There's no more hesitation, only steadfastness. Every decision vibrates with purpose. The energy that surrounds me reminds me every day that I am on the right path. Money is just a reflection of that, and it keeps coming because I am ready, because I am willing, because now I know abundance has always been here, waiting for me to say yes. And today, my yes is definitive, complete, and eternal. What was once doubt is now unshakable certainty. There is no more room for questions. The energy that was activated has taken shape, form, and direction. I can feel money moving around me like a living, attentive, constant presence, not as something that escapes, but as something that approaches. There's an intense feeling that everything that was invisible is finally becoming visible. What was once just a desire is now a manifestation. This new reality no longer depends on what I do, but on who I am. And I am pure abundance. Everything I touch carries this frequency. All my words, all my actions, all my decisions now arise from this vibrational field. The opportunities that appear are no longer coincidences. They are direct responses to my new energy. I have become the center of attraction for everything I desire. And this is not luck. It is conscious alignment. There is a powerful peace that accompanies this state, a tranquility that does not come from the absence of challenges, but from the awareness that no challenge can stop me. Money flows, paths open up, the right people arrive. Everything cooperates with me because I cooperate with the universal flow. And what once made me hesitate now propels me forward. Fear no longer has a place here. I am not driven by fear. I'm guided by certainty. That prayer was not just a set of words. It was a turning point, a watershed between who I was and who I am now. I can no longer go back to my previous mindset, because what has been activated cannot be deactivated. What has been awakened is now permanent. The reality that once seemed distant now presents itself with total clarity. I can see money coming from sources I never would have imagined. I can feel financial security as a familiar feeling, as something that welcomes me. It is no longer about wanting wealth. It is about living it, walking through it, breathing it, expressing yourself from it. I no longer wait for it to arrive. I act like someone who already has it. And that simple shift changes everything. The universe responds to who I am, not to what I ask for. And now I am the living expression of prosperity. There are no more gaps. Everything flows. Everything fits together. Every choice I make now is backed by an abundant consciousness. Every yes I say carries the energy of expansion. And every no I express comes from the understanding that I don't have to accept less than the best. Prayer has opened up a space within me, a space where the impossible does not exist, a space where money is a natural consequence of my state of being. I realize how my relationship with money has completely changed. Before, it was a concern. Now, it is a confirmation, a sign that I am on the right path. And the more I trust, the more it presents itself, not as something separate from me, but as part of my nature. The energy of money flows at the same frequency as my conviction. It is not effort that attracts it. It is the recognition of deservingness. With each new day, I become more aware of my ability to create wealth. And this creation is not based on scarcity, but on abundance. I don't just get enough. I get more than I need, because that is the pattern of the universe. Multiplication. Nothing comes in small doses when you are aligned with the source. And I am totally aligned. This gives me power, but it also gives me responsibility. Responsibility to expand, to share, to inspire. Because my wealth is not just for me. It is part of something bigger, part of a purpose that goes beyond matter. Every penny that comes to me carries a mission, and I am ready to fulfill it. I am ready to use my prosperity to heal, to uplift, to transform. And the universe knows it. That is why it keeps sending more. The most impressive thing is that this abundance is not unstable. It does not depend on a market, a person, or a circumstance. It comes from within. And because it comes from within, it is constant, unshakable. That is why, even when something does not go as planned, I do not get upset. Because I know that there's a greater intelligence reorganizing everything in my favor. And it never fails. Even obstacles now have a different meaning. They are adjustments, redirections, signs that something even better is coming. The prayer that brought me here planted a new code in my being. A code that only recognizes expansion, that only accepts growth, and that dissolves everything that previously sustained limitation. The walls that surrounded me have crumbled. Now there's only open field, vast, full of possibilities. I walk through this field with confidence, because I know that each step takes me to an even greater manifestation. I don't need to see everything at once. I just need to feel the direction, and that direction is clear. It points to a future where abundance is the norm, where the extraordinary becomes routine, and I accept that with an open heart. Today, I let go of any doubts that still try to survive within me. They no longer have a place. What I experience now is so real, so tangible, that there's no more room for hesitation. The prosperity that flows to me is natural, like breathing. I no longer need to convince myself that I am worthy. I just am, and that is enough. With every positive thought, with every conscious choice, I deepen this reality even further. The roots of abundance take hold within me, and the tree of prosperity blossoms in all areas of my life. Nothing is left out. Everything is touched. Everything is elevated. And everything becomes a reflection of this new identity I have embraced. I am the one who lives in abundance. I am the one who activates wealth wherever I go. And the energy that now flows through me will continue to grow, because it has found a home, a fertile space, a soil where there is no more fear, where trust is unshakable. And from here, anything is possible. And in this new state, I understand that everything I have ever wanted has always been around me, just waiting for my permission. Money is not an illusion, nor is it a privilege for the few. It is an extension of my energy, a response to my inner state. That is why it comes naturally, effortlessly, without delay. Reality responds to my vibration, and my vibration is now pure, elevated, and abundant. There are no more internal conflicts. There are no more voices saying it is not possible. I have silenced the past. I have redefined my present. And with that, I have created a new future. I am the one who has taken charge, who has understood that being prosperous is part of my spiritual design. And now, every second is a new confirmation. Every heartbeat is a sign. Every breath carries the certainty that I am at the center of an inexhaustible flow. And from here, I will never return. The road ahead is clear, not because there won't be challenges, but because now I know who I am. I am the person who transforms the environment, who creates opportunities, who multiplies what I receive. My life is a representation of universal abundance, and my commitment is to keep that vibration alive, constant, active. I'm no longer in a hurry. I no longer have doubts, only presence. And in that presence, everything happens. The entire universe collaborates with my expansion, because now I allow it. Now I accept it. Now I am. And as I continue on this path, I not only receive, but also inspire. Because when the light shines in me, it illuminates others as well. This is true abundance, sharing without fear, living without limits, thriving without end.